Hi, I have chosen to introduce the topic with a short arpeggio study so as not to be too specific about a style. Since we are talking about the dominant chord, in particular we will talk about its arpeggios, and this chord is present in all genres of Occidental music, in its modal form and in its tonal form, starting from classical music, passing through pop, jazz, blues, hard rock. During this video, I will have the opportunity to illustrate some examples that you can insert in your phrasing or rework and insert in your favorite style. Most of you know the dominant chord in a tonal context is the chord that creates movement in the harmonies, because having an intrinsic instability, it tends to resolve on stable chords. The rest of the chords, just you can hear, they are stable. Over any we could stop. Instead, when you play a dominant chord, it wants to resolve. In a modal context, the dominant chord can have an ambiguous value, in the sense that it can be assumed as a tonal center, as happens in the blues and everything that has blues roots. Or it can have its characteristic utility of dominant chord that is resolved on another chord, as happens on the fifth degree of the blues. What we are going to see are 5 fingerings of these arpeggios, in correspondence with the 5 boxes of the scale that you use, whether they are pentatonic or that they are mixolydian or whatever, and how to modify these arpeggios in a simple way to make them become diminished arpeggios, which superimposed on our 7th chord will become 7 flat 9th arpeggios. Therefore, they will increase even more the tension towards another chord. For example, this is a 7th arpeggio. Our modified arpeggio, that is, we will raise the root by a half tone, will have more tension to resolve on another degree. Now let's go to see the fingerings, also some examples, after which the diminished fingerings. We see the 5 fingerings in the key of C, starting from the shape closest to the headstock, where we have this chord, and going to use all the notes we have available in this position. Therefore, not starting from the root, but starting from the lowest note available, which is G, its 5th. It will be useful to memorize all the intervals referring to the root. That is 1st, 3rd, 5th, 7th, the position of all, because we can modify these arpeggios if necessary, for example to create a measure 7 arpeggio by raise the 7th. Here we have the dominant 7, here instead the measure 7th. Or by lowering the 3rd, you get the arpeggio of minor 7th. Let's start with our arpeggios starting from the 5th. So 5th, 7th, root, 3rd, 5th. Here we move forward on the 3rd position with the index, 7th, root, finger roll on the 3rd, 5th, 7th, and back. 7th, 5th, 3rd, root, 7th, 5th, 3rd, root, 7th, 5th. The second fingering is on the 5th position, where we have this chord. Also this. The root is here, under the pinky. First we started from the 5th. Instead now, the lowest note we have available on this fingering is the 7th. So, 7th, root, 3rd, 5th, 7th, root, finger roll on the 3rd, 5th, 7th, root, root, 7th, 5th, 3rd, finger roll on the root, 7th, 5th, 3rd, root, 7th. You have noticed that I have now gone here with the index finger. I prefer this movement over this movement with the pinky, but do as you feel most comfortable. The third fingering, we have it in the 7th position, where there is this chord. The fingering starts from the root. Root, 3rd, 5th. Here we move one position further forward in the 8th position, because the fingering then goes on all on the 8th position. Therefore, here we have the 7th taken with the index. Root, 3rd, 5th, 7th, root, and we return. Root, 7th, 5th, 3rd, root, 7th, 5th, 3rd, root. With this fingering, I also like to start from the 7th, starting from the previous fingering and then return to this one. In this way. Another thing I like is taking the second ear. The fourth fingering starts from the third of the chord. Here we have the root, here the E, which is the third. Here we have this chord, or also this inversion. So third, fifth, seventh, root, third, fifth, seventh, root, third, root, seventh, fifth, third, root, seventh, fifth, third. The last fingering is in the 12th position. The chord is here. We can start again from the third as the previous fingering, but we are moved by one position. So third, fifth, seventh, root, third, fifth, seventh, root, third, fifth, we return, fifth, third, root, seventh, fifth, third, root, seventh, fifth, third. When you have memorized these fingerings, you will be able to easily switch from one fingering to another. I will give you some example. For example, we start from the second fingering. Here we have the seventh. We can move to the root and we are on the third fingering. I repeat. Or from the third to the fourth fingering. From the fourth to the fifth. How do I change the 7th arpeggios to become a 7th flat 9th arpeggio or diminished arpeggio? In both cases, it will be enough to rise the root of a half tone. So we have the C7, which is composed by the root C, 3rd E, 5th G, and minor 7 B flat. If we rise the root by a half tone, all the ratio between the C sharp and the E, the G, and the B flat, therefore the 3rd, the 5th, and the 7th, will change. That is, what was E, the 3rd from the C, will become the minor 3rd for the C sharp. The G will become the diminished 5th for the C sharp, and B flat will become diminished 7th for C sharp. Therefore, we will have, in the first case, with C, a 7th arpeggio, and with C sharp, diminished 7th arpeggio by rising the root. What happens if I play this C sharp diminished 7th arpeggio on a C7 chord? It happens that the notes E, G, and B flat remain consistent with the C7 chord. That is, they remain the 3rd, 5th, and minor 7 of C7. The C sharp, that in this case I prefer to call D flat, because it will take on the function of 9 flat, it will become precisely the 9th flat of the chord. Therefore, playing this arpeggio above the C chord, the notes present will be the root C, D flat 9th flat, E 3rd, G 5th, and B flat 7th. So the context in its totality will be that of a C7 flat 9 chord. Now let's see the fingering. The interval that I will declare will refer to C7. So we have 5th, 7th, flat 9, 3rd, 5th, 7th, flat 9th, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 7th, 5th, 3rd, flat 9th, 7th, 5th, 3rd, flat 9th, 7th, 5th. The second fingering is in 5th position. Here we have the 7th, here we add the root, which now becomes flat 9. Then 7th, flat 9th, 3rd, 5th, 7th, flat 9th, 3rd, 5th, 7th, that we will take with the index to easily get to flat 9th, 7th, 5th, 3rd, flat 9th, 7th, 5th, 3rd, with the middle finger, flat 9th, and 7th. Third fingering, before we started with the root, now we start with the flat 9th, 3rd, 5th, we move to the 8th position as before, but this time is necessary because flat 9 is here, so flat 9th, 3rd, 5th, 7th, flat 9th, 7th, 5th, 3rd, flat 9, 7th, we return to position, 5th, 3rd, and flat 9. For fingering, we start from the 3rd of C7 on the 12th fret, 3rd, 5th, 7th, flat 9, 3rd, 5th, 7th, flat 9th, 3rd, flat 9th, 7th, 5th, flat ninth, seventh, fifth, third. Fifth and last fingering, we start again from the E, third, fifth, seventh with the index to reach the flat ninth, third, fifth, seventh, flat ninth, third, fifth, third, flat ninth, seventh, fifth, third, flat ninth, seventh, fifth, and third. Well, I hope you found the video interesting. Now I leave you with some examples played on a blues chorus, and see you next time. Thank you very much.